Yeah. So, yeah, welcome back, everybody, to another episode of PS
And Jess.
There you go. Man, we have an awesome person with us today. Can't tell you how much I admire this person. Yeah, you know
Somebody else, dude. I don't know.
Dewayne White,
What's up?
best comedians in the DMV. We're talking the Gary Sinise Foundation, the Almost Red, White, and Blue comedy tour. Man, you do a lot of work, man. You've worked with Josh Blue,
Yeah.
Tony Woods. Love Tony Woods. I actually have an autograph of Tony Woods.
Do you really?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
good.
Got it.
He's a good dude.
Yeah. So, man, it's great to have you on,
Good to
man.
be here,
We
man.
really
Thanks for
appreciate
having me.
Thanks
I
for
appreciate it.
the time to
Heck yeah. Sorry.
talk to us. Yes.
I already messed it up.
It's
Sorry.
It's all good.
I think I could put a little bleep in there. Like,
I will do my best. I will do my best. I'm so sorry for all the kids in church youth groups listening to this right now.
As a matter of fact, we talk about it all the time. That's where we met.
Yeah.
In youth groups? Or at
It's
church?
it's called.
Like a young adult night.
All right, right on.
Mhm.
You guys
Yeah.
were like,
So,
hey.
what you got going on, man?
Oh man, what don't I have going on right now? Let's see. I just got back from. I was in the middle of nowhere, Meadville, Pennsylvania, this weekend. It was a great time. It was fun. It was a great show. I joke about it, but it was funny. We were like in the middle of Amish country and like outside. I was like, we didn't know it was gonna be outside. Like, oh, great, awesome. I go, you guys got like a spotlight? They're like, no, but that light right there's gonna come on as soon as it gets a little darker. It was great. It was great. It was reminding me of where I came from as a kid, like farm country. It was great. Then I was down in where was I? Down near Harrisonburg, Virginia,
Okay.
on Saturday. So
You travel a lot.
travel a lot right now. Yeah.
Hey, that's good
It's
though.
fun. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
fun. I like it. I like being on the road, kind of on my own and stuff.
Yeah.
Fun. I enjoy it.
I was having this conversation with my wife not long ago about it's almost a year that I met you.
Is it really?
Yeah.
June
for
25th will be a year.
Holy
Mhm.
cow!
So me and Dwayne met at you were working with one of my very favorite Josh Blue's in my top 5.
Yeah, dude.
And
Oh, that's right. Because we met. We didn't meet at my place. We met at the
Josh
Josh
Blue's
Blue show.
Mhm.
at the Arlington Draft House.
Yeah, I forgot about that, dude.
My wife got that for me as a gift.
Yep. Yeah.
Because I had a few options. We were either going to see Impractical Jokers, Tom Segura, or Josh Blue.
Yeah.
And
You made the right choice.
yeah.
Yeah. Definitely.
So
I mean, not that there's anything wrong with Tom Segura or Practical Jokers. I love both. That's the way we got to meet.
yeah, and
No, Tom, sorry.
we went to the show, and at the end of the show, it was man, it was amazing. I love the whole show. One of my favorite bits of that whole show, not when Josh Blue was on, but like when you were on. And
Yeah, you hear that, Josh?
yeah,
Hear that, buddy?
no,
Say that again. I'll send it to him over.
yeah, please do.
He is so competitive too. That would make it so crazy. Oh, he's super. It's funny. Like half the time, I text him all the time. We don't like talk that much on the text, but we like if I send him like a game pigeon request, he will pony up right there because
Oh.
he not turn down a challenge.
It's so funny.
So super competitive in a good way, like in a
Yeah.
very good way.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
He's a great individual. Oh man, I loved
Yeah.
it. I fell in love with him when I first saw him years ago, and very, very great comedian.
Oh, hilarious, dude.
But man, your set kind of like love the womanizer set.
We won't talk about that on here because
Yeah.
it's clean.
Clean. But
I haven't found a way to make that one clean yet.
that was an
Might be a little
awesome
tough.
show.
Talking about adult toys, and I can't do that on.
So Dwayne actually gave me my first opportunity to doing stand up.
Yeah, I remember that night.
And I killed it.
You did kill it
did.
the first night. Yeah.
Yeah.
The second night, not so much, but the first night, you were on it. That's how it goes for people, though, dude.
It's just
Everybody does amazing their first time, and then the second time they get like, wow, this is harder than it was.
I mean, I got good jokes, but like I'm always writing. I still to this day write stuff down.
I feel like a lot of it's about me.
A lot of it's about my wife.
Yeah, I call my wife a content creator. So
Yeah, she's an
she's a
awesome
massive
content
tax write-off now. Just kidding.
Your wife, by the way, is amazing.
Oh, I'm tired of people telling me that.
Oh, she. What? one thing I love about Imka is that man, she works hard.
She does. She
Work
does.
hard.
Well, if she doesn't, I've threatened her with deportation.
Oh,
Um, so it's fine.
yeah.
She's an American citizen. She doesn't know that citizens can't be deported
Oh,
yet.
yeah.
So I'm keeping that a secret from her. It's good. She's fine. No, she is. She's awesome. I wouldn't be able to do the stuff I do without her. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
no, I see
like
her.
even Saturday, I was in down down in Harrisonburg, and she was running a show for me out here in Virginia. So it was like
Yeah.
without that, I couldn't do the stuff I do. So
Oh yeah. No.
You guys are a good team.
yeah,
Oh,
it's
she
fun.
moves. They're a great team,
Hmm.
and I think I think our relationships, our marriages are almost the same because she's a content creator for me too, and she does so much. I like your wife. I mean, like man, she hustles up when it's to put the tables together.
Yeah, she
I've
does.
seen her just
She
like
does.
hustle. And we used to when we went to the Electric Palm to do to watch your shows and stuff like that. Man, you need some help? Nope. And
Well,
she was getting it.
the reason she doesn't accept help anymore is because she used to. Everybody would love to look. Oh, can I help? Can I help? And it was like she's like, oh yeah, sure. And then she would either spend too much time explaining how to put the gear away, or people would break the gear. So
Oh,
she's like, don't touch it anymore.
yeah.
I'm like,
Hands
no
off.
one can help her anymore. She's just like, no, I don't even help her anymore, and that's mostly because I don't want to.
Yeah, she
But
does.
it's
There's my content creator right there. So,
that's good. Well, you let her on the microphone though. That's
huh?
you gave her a microphone.
Oh,
That's
she
I
true.
shouldn't say let her on. That sounded really bad, but it
I'm
implies
allowed to
that.
be here.
Yeah,
yeah,
I joke with my wife all the time because she gets on with the mic sometimes. I'm like, hey, is so and so here? She'll be checking the guest list,
Hmm.
and I'm just like, and she'll get on, and I always tell her, and it's sort of a joke, but it's like there's nothing that I hate worse in the world than hearing my wife's voice like amplified through a microphone, and
yeah.
it's just like it sounds so bad, but I'm just like I feel like I'm being yelled at, and it's not even it's not has nothing to do with me. She's like, I don't understand. I was like, you won't understand, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
You got anything?
Yeah, I mean, so how did you get started with like comedy? I know like you were with the Armed Services Arts Partnership.
Yeah, yeah. They I still work with them. I love them. It was a weird time. Like I was getting ready to I'd been talking to my son a lot. He was getting ready to go off into college, and I had just taken like a government job that I absolutely hated. And I knew I was going to hate it when I took it, right? It felt like it was a big white flag, like doing the exact thing I said I wouldn't do after I got out of the army.
Mm-hmm.
I'd been talking to him like follow your dreams, and I'd let him in on the secret like, hey, I wanted to be a stand-up comic when I was a kid, like my whole life. I wanted since I was this tall, I wanted to be. And I've been telling him like follow your dreams, don't chase the money or whatever you think you got to do. And I was having all these conversations, deep, philosophical conversations, and I went up to the city one day for a job or for work just to do a meeting. And I got there early, went in the coffee shop across the street, and there was a flyer for Armed Services Arts Partnership. It's like, hey, do you want to try stand up? Are you a veteran? I'm like, yes to both of those. And I was like, man, if I don't do this, I'm a hypocrite, So yeah, I tried to get in that class, the first class. It was already full, and then they got me in the next one and fell in love with it and doing it all the time now. So yeah.
What's that?
Oh, I don't want to say that. That's a secret. That's a secret. I
No,
never say what it
no,
is.
because it seems like the position that you're in now with them, man. You've
Yeah,
came very very far.
it was quick. I mean, they have kind of a pipeline of for instructors because like now I'm one of their instructors, and yeah, and it was just good. I think they saw that, and I see it now, on students that come through. It's like, okay, that person's got potential, and they just really love comedy, right? It's got to be like the both, because you can be hilarious and funny, but if you're not like taking it seriously and it
Mm.
doesn't, it's almost like got to be this weird overwhelming passion that you can't explain. But yeah, so they asked me to come in and do the mentoring thing, which is kind of like basically an intern helping the new students get over their fears of getting on stage and maybe giving a note here and there, and then the assistant instructor and then instructor. And yeah, man, it's just blossomed, and I love it. It's so much fun teaching that class. I mean, honestly, when I teach the class, I end up writing better bits during that time because I end up going, "Oh yeah, I teach. This is how to come up with bits." Yeah, I forgot that. Oh, these.
Relearn how to do
Yeah,
it.
it's like, oh, these are the techniques I tell them. I'm like, why am I not doing this in my own comedy right now? Hold on, I can change this bit, and it's awesome it kind of refocuses me too in that sense. So
Yeah.
it's pretty cool, and I love it. And it's just cool that that whole veteran thing makes people open up a little bit quicker, and
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
yeah, so it's very cool.
You were in the military for 23 years, right?
23 years, man. Yeah,
And
yeah.
you're fluent in Russian?
I never use the word fluent, but I used to be an interpreter back in the day.
So yeah,
Really?
yeah, he's
Yeah,
yeah,
Wow.
I think he
I
also
was good for a while. I'm not that good anymore, but
you can get by on Ukrainian and
I can get by. Like, well,
Turkish.
Ukrainian, not really, because it's different. I mean, I can understand a lot of Ukrainian because they're very similar in that. Like, I used to take tests when I was a young private in the army. I used to go take like language tests to get out of like duties and
Yeah,
stuff. And so I had a rating in Ukrainian for years. I was like, I have no idea. Actually, I was supposed to come here to DC in 2011. I was coming here to actually learn Ukrainian. Then I was going to go live in Ukraine for a year and go to one of their schools and leave, and the whole thing fell through.
really.
Yeah, actually, it sounds egotistical. It's not meant to, but they called me. They're like, "Oh, they said your Russian scores are too high to go to Ukrainian." I was like, "What?"
That's weird.
You're too
Even saying
good.
that now.
I was like, that doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah,
And I go,
people
I'll act
want someone
stupid.
good
Like, what do
too.
you want me to do? And they're like, yeah, sorry, man. It was a whole thing about the school child's trying to get the government to pay money. It was a whole thing. But yeah, so I was like, that's how I ended up here. I was like, well, I've already started my move. And they're like, oh, well, we'll find somewhere for you to go in DC. I did and never have moves.
Yeah,
And
man, it's
just
weird the
ended
way
up.
that fate works,
Oh
man.
my
Because
God.
now you have, I believe you're the Dwayne comedy that you host at the open mic
Hmm.
in at the Electric Pump.
Yeah.
Hey, man, that's one of the most popular comedy uh, open mics I think in Prince William County. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
not a lot.
there's not many in Prince William
Yeah,
County.
there's not, but
Like being the best looking woman at an ugly show. But yeah, I get it. But that's what you just said, basically. Like, no, you are the
I mean, a lot of people come to your show.
I yeah, no, it's great. It's been a great venue, dude. I mean,
Yeah,
it's just it has I mean, so I had another place in Woodbridge and it didn't work out.
yeah,
And, not only did the owner and I start not seeing eye to eye very quickly, he had different thoughts and things than I did about comedy and venues and things. But, the pandemic just killed it, just killed
Mm.
his business, and he went under. Just a few weeks after I started, but it got me going and got me starting my thing. And yeah, it's funny. We were talking about the other night because the Palm has been great. I mean, we just showed up at the Palm, and I said, it's the Electric Palm in Woodbridge, awesome place. They've been doing music and stuff, and so right as the pandemic, right as stuff started to be open, I was like, this is the time to get into this. So we get in and started talking to them, and they wanted people in. And yeah, I mean, Tuesdays took off, and then they asked us to, hey, how about doing some shows? Shows. I'm like, all right, cool. And then we do those every other Friday, and usually they're pretty packed out,
yeah.
Mm.
and the mics are full of people and stuff. So, and I mean, it does. I think it has a different vibe than a lot of mics, especially up in the city, because it is further away. You got to kind of make an effort to get down here from the city, so people stick around longer and hang out. Nothing against people that don't up in the city because you're bouncing around to different mics
Yeah.
Mhm.
to get your reps in as part of the game. But yeah, I think it's more of kind of like a family atmosphere. Hopefully, not like family in the sense of like material, obviously, but
Yeah.
but the
Just
comics
the
are pretty
time.
tight. It's a pretty close knit group.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, no, I met a lot of good people
Yeah,
through your show, and we still keep in contact to this day. I mean,
sure.
I love that group atmosphere that you have. You have a very big family atmosphere at your show, and what that's the tightness we're talking about is
Yeah,
being with other comedians. Even these comedians, what I loved about your show when I was going to it was other comedians come up to you and they're like, "Hey, here's this list. I think it's the Fat Boy list or something like that. I forgot what it was, but it has the days and times of different mics
oh yeah,
in
yeah,
the
yeah,
whole DMV area,
yeah,
DC, Maryland, and Virginia.
yeah,
And they're go to these mics and then, you got to go into different crowds. Even Dwayne said something
yeah.
about one time. It's like, man, just go to different mics and just
You have to.
do your
Yeah.
thing and you'll see how it
Yeah, different
goes.
crowds.
Yeah, because you can't take it to just one spot. And honestly, I got that. I doubt I even remember saying it, but from John Yeager, who runs stuff up in the city as well, and up in Northern Virginia, and who's a great dude to help new comics get into
Yeah.
the scene in DC. Um, he said that, and I don't even know if he said it to me personally or if he said it was just like on a video I watched when I was first starting. And he was like, "Hey man, you gotta." They were like, "What advice do you have for new comics?" And he's like, "Take your stuff to different rooms," and it's 100% true because you get so used to. I mean, like my room is not good feedback for me. anymore. Like I can say, oh, I got a good joke, and I'm like, oh, I got this good 5 minutes that I was doing at my place, and it works there because there's a lot of inside jokes. Everybody knows me and stuff like they're
Yeah.
like, ah, let's laugh, and it's it's very it's too easy in that sense,
Mhm.
right? So I got to take my stuff up to the city and put it in front of other people or go to other spots and do it. And I recommend everybody do that because not every room is the same, not every vibe is the same, and being able to kind of go in and out of those different rooms is huge.
Yeah, you got a
Figure
lot
out
of
like
military material
I
too.
do, yeah. Well, I mean, it's my life, It's like
Yeah.
been a good part of my life doing it. So yeah, I have a lot of stuff about the military about how, there's just such dumb stuff that happens in the military. So
Yeah.
you got to talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, otherwise we'll go nuts. But
Yeah, I was telling my wife, I think one of the coolest things is that have you met Lieutenant Dan? Gary
I
Sinise?
have not, but he's coming to town this weekend.
Yeah.
Oh.
And the guy he plays bass in his band a lot of times, is a buddy of mine from the tour, from the Red, White, and Blue tour, and he's like, "Hey, we're coming to town next weekend, man. Yeah, we're gonna meet up." So hopefully, I get to meet Gary finally. Um, you know, I have some videos he sent me on my phone, but nothing
Yeah.
weird. Like that sounded weird, but you know, just like, "Hey, thanks for being on," because he sponsored the tour, right? It was crazy, but yeah,
An
I
awesome
haven't met
tour.
him yet. Yeah, so I
Yeah.
need
How'd
to.
you feel about that tour?
Oh my gosh, dude, it was super fun. I mean, it just kind of dropped in my lap too, out of nowhere. I was actually when I first got told about that tour, I had this is so stupid. I had literally done a retirement home, like an old retirement home, not like, oh, we're assisted living or we're an active over 50 community. I'm talking these people. It was Some of them are not here anymore. I guarantee it.
Oh God, I don't know how to feel about that, especially in my line of work.
Yeah, right.
Maybe you need
You
some
may
help.
know
From very
you
different
may have worked
regions.
with them. We've worked with the same people. But no, like there was literally a deaf lady at the show. Like this lady walks out and my buddy goes, "Hey, did you enjoy the show, ma'am?" And she's like, she just ignored him. He's like, "Ma'am, did you enjoy the show?" And it was great. And the worker just turns and goes, "Oh, she's deaf." And I'm like, "Why was she at a comedy show? That's torture. That's not okay." But anyway, I'd done that. I'd done a retirement community the night before that, so I was like, comedy's going great for me right now. And I was sleeping in a Sheetz parking lot in West Virginia, waiting for another gig that I was doing that night. And the phone rings, and it's just my buddy out of the blue. He's like, "Hey, man, we can't tell you who the headliner is, but do you want to be a part of this tour?" I'm like, yes, absolutely, I do. And then, I found out a few months later or a few weeks later that it was Josh. And I was like, oh, this is super cool.
Really?
And yeah, there we were.
You want to tell them about the picture you have?
Oh yeah, because you like wanted a picture, and we were like, no, it's probably not like a good thing.
Yeah.
You like
I
found
was
like his
very, very
assistant,
shy. That
right?
was like probably one of the most. I've met a lot of famous people in my life, but comedy is very near and dear to me.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
And that was one of the points in my life where I even seeing you, Josh, and his I think his wife,
Sister.
Oh, girlfriend.
this
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah, the girlfriend.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
We're walking into the pizza place.
Yeah.
We were gonna go across the street to the pizza place.
No, I was like, oh, he's over there. So then
He's
we
like
like
literally
slowly
right over
walked
there.
across the street.
Well, it's funny because he can't hide. You know what I mean? It's like I can blend in. Nobody knows,
Yeah, he has a unique
and I'm
look.
not. And even if I was famous, like I could blend in. I know that. I just put a baseball hat. But Josh, you cannot blend it. He cannot. And
Yeah.
so it's fun hanging out with him because people walk up and they'll be like, "Is that? Are you?" And it's so
I
fun.
was gonna
It's
do
so
that,
great.
but I was like, nope, he's eating. He's about to do the show. We'll see him at the show. I didn't want to disturb him at that point.
Yeah,
I'm a huge fan of Josh Will.
yeah.
Like, we still have his picture and the handicap
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
bag
yeah,
that
Mm.
he had at his show, and I haven't had a chance to get around to it, but I have him in the spot downstairs to keep them nice and neat,
yeah.
and I'm putting those up on the picture frame.
Oh, that's awesome, dude. Yeah.
And because he's such a great comedian. I
Oh,
love
he's
his
amazing.
comedy is what I love.
Yeah.
People have their different comedy, and I just love his comedy.
It's really good. Well, and especially if you see him, if all you ever knew him from was like Last Comic Standing or America's Got Talent, like
Yeah,
his comedy is so much different than that TV. I mean, it's the same,
yeah,
obviously, it's the same persona, but when he can not do TV stuff, it's like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
I had no
Yeah.
idea. And he's a fun dude to hang out with. You will not be bored, I promise.
Oh man,
Hang
just
out with that dude. He
when
is.
we were sitting close to the front. I think we were on that VI.
Yeah, we were like
Yeah, we were right
Oh,
there
that.
front row, and
uh,
it was an awesome show.
Yeah,
I
it was a lot
absolutely
of fun.
yeah.
I've also gone to see we went to go see Fluffy. That was a
Yeah,
great
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's
favorite
I,
awesome.
s-
place.
I still have your hot sauce that you gave me from.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, yeah, I gave one of it's a hot sauce.
I
It's
think it's the Cholula.
hot the with the chihuahuas on it. With
Yeah.
chihuahuas
Yeah,
on
yeah,
it.
yeah.
It's by Tapatio
Oh yeah, Tapatio.
sauce. And
I
I
love how
only
you
grabbed three
really
of
you
them.
really like accented that up too.
Yeah.
You couldn't go that up for me a little bit. Tapatio.
So I took it to Wayne and yeah, no, I gave one to you
Yeah.
as a token of my
Oh, that's super
appreciation
cool,
for
man.
giving me the offer because that was on my bucket list.
Yeah.
And I mean, with me being busy with school, at one point I will get back into
Yeah, yeah.
comedy, but with everything we're doing with funeral home and
Yeah, dude.
going to school, it's just
You got a full
Well,
plate right now for sure.
yeah.
For
But
sure.
man, during that time, and I
But my
really
God, what a
to do.
great like just place to get material.
Oh my God,
Dude.
I've
yeah,
had some
it really is.
tell me that, but it's like I can't,
I know. It's
like
like
I
there's
can't.
privacy issues, there's other stuff.
No, it's not privacy
They're
issues.
like,
It's
no,
that
they're dead. They have no more privacy.
so it's just if somebody's in the audience
Then
and
always like
I make
expected.
that kind of
Oh
joke,
yeah, yeah.
they might be there because they just lost a loved one. They might have a
Yeah.
hey, come out, have a good time, and then I say a joke like that. That's one of those subjects where it's like I don't want to go near it too much. But
Yeah,
down inside,
but
I have so many jokes.
Hmm.
I don't know. I don't know. I've only had one time where somebody came in where and this is a person I knew. It was like a buddy, a guy that was very close to our family passed away, and I had to come to the Palm and run. I had somebody else running the show because we were literally at his memorial service,
Yeah.
and I was like, all right, I'll come back to Palm. I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna go up. I don't know if anything. And then his daughter and her friends come from the memorial service into the Palm. They're like, we just need to laugh today. I was like, well, I guess I'm doing jokes, and I was just like, that's the only time I've ever like had that happen because I mean, there's so much to talk about,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there's so
yeah, dark stuff,
I
and
catch myself sometimes talking to a person that I'm working on because I have my apprenticeship. So when I'm in vomit, dude, anybody that watches this that
it
works in the
makes
funeral
sense. I
service,
get it.
you sometimes have to sit there like I'll have a body that does not want to embalm right, right? It's giving me a little bit of difficulty.
Being a
At
pain
least,
until the
yeah, being
very
a pain
end.
in the butt, and then I'm like, why don't you like me? And then they'll be like, I'm just sitting there having a I'm trying to like be frustrated, but you can't be frustrated at them because it's
You're not doing anything.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it's not on
it's
them at this point. That's all you, dude. That's your problem. It's this. I don't want to. I don't want to equate this, but it's the same thing. I do that when I hunt a lot. So when I'm out with a deer and I'm cutting up and I'm like, all right, come on, the girl, let's put your legs over here. I'm, I'm like, would you just hold still? It's the same thing.
Did you want to ask him anything?
I
Was it-
don't know. I mean, when did you start like your own like comedy shows and everything? Like,
Oh,
what made you want to do that?
How'd you feel about it?
I
Yeah.
was nervous, dude. I was scared to death about it, honestly. I'll tell you what actually got me over the edge of doing it. I was kicking the idea around, and I was already an instructor with ASAP doing a course, maybe my first course, but we had just gone online because of the pandemic,
Mm.
and it was really weird, first of all. But the cool part about online was that you could have like celebrities would just drop into a class. We could just email these people and be like, "Hey, would you mind coming through and saying some more?" Like Ryan Niemiller came through our class, and stuff like
Wow.
um, there's a couple others I can't remember off the top of my head, but the first one, Eliza Schlesinger came through, and she was talking to these brand new comics that and I don't think most of them have done it. One or two are continuing out of that class, but most of them aren't, right? These brand new comics, and she's like, "Look, if you need," she goes, "what you need in the beginning is stage time, but you have no way to get that stage time because nobody knows you, et cetera, et cetera." She goes, "So if you really want to do this, start a room, start running open mic, and then you can,
Mm.
people will come to your place, and then that gives you the clout to go, hey, I'd like to get on yours too, and you know." We never use the word trade time, but it's kind of how it worked. And I was like, hmm. So I called one of my mentors here, and I was like, "Do you think I could start?" He's like, "Yeah, absolutely, you can start a room." So next thing you know, I'm like starting a spot, and it's so weird to watch how it's changed. Because literally, even at the Palm, I used to hang. What do you call? I had like those chicken lights that I would put a floodlight in or a spotlight from outside.
Yeah.
Like you would hang on on your house. But I have like it was like one of those silver clamp-on lights and we would run stupid extension cords all along the wall and over the wall into the kitchen and all this crazy stuff
Really?
just to have a
Wow.
spot, just to have that. Yeah, and it was turned the other way. It was long ways. It was terrible, but the thing that, and to do that and just it got better and better every week until we kind of got our system down. And then we're like, next thing you
Hmm.
know, now we have lights installed where you flick a button and, they get the kitchen closed in.
Yeah.
So it's awesome. It's so great. But yeah, dude, I was scared to death. I was like, can I do this?
Hmm.
Like, but honestly, it was great, and it was, and running a room makes you such a better comic too. Cause like, especially hosting, cause
Hmm.
you're on stage so many times and you got to come up with stuff to say
Yep.
all the time and you learn to do stuff on the fly and read a room better and all that. So it was the greatest thing ever. And I ended up actually uh I was opening for Eliza Schlesinger's opener actually here in DC. Gosh, it's been about a year now. Hunter Hill. But he's her feature when she goes on the road. And I told him that story. He's like texting her like, "Oh, hey, this guy started because now he's open for." Yeah, that's cool. So yeah, I mean, just that's how I got like I guess over the hump of doing it. And it was
Yeah.
just, it's like anything. It's like you go, man, can I do this? And it's like finally you just go, yeah, let's do it. Let's
Hmm. Just gotta go right
why?
into it.
Yeah, why wait? I'll do it when I'm ready. You're never gonna be ready,
Yep.
That's one of the things that we talked about on our last podcast we just did a podcast. Our last podcast was on the Rage Room.
Oh, nice.
And the owners, uh,
Speaking of white people stuff.
huh? Yeah.
They're actually black though.
No,
They're
are you
black.
serious?
Yeah.
Rage rooms, escape rooms, and axe throwing seem like the whitest three things.
Yeah, no,
Good for them.
we asked them the same thing, and they were just like, "Yeah, you can't wait.
Hmm.
Yeah,
You just if you don't know what plan 3 and 4 is, just think about plan 1, and then think about what you need to do
yeah,
next. But you just got to keep on moving and
Hmm.
moving.
and that's hard. I mean, because like especially like my military brain, I want to plan
Yeah, like step
27
by step.
steps down the road.
Yeah,
But it's true though. You just got to kind of do it. And
but not only that, I also think that you've also set off a chain reaction for that because even comedians that I have seen that started at your show have started their own
yeah,
open mics,
yeah,
and then
we
it's the
showed.
door that just keeps on revolving because then you go to those mics too,
Yeah,
and then they're still doing your shows, and it just gives you guys that platform
yeah, it's cool.
of using your material.
It is fun, and
Yeah,
it's nice when people are like, "Oh, I started this," because I started at your place, and now like David Balaguese, he runs a spot down in, and he's a great comic, young guy. But the first time he was ever on stage was in my place, and now he's running stuff around here, and it was cool and he reminded me I'd forgotten that. It was like
yeah,
this guy just texted me. He's like
Hmm.
he was in a class with this friend of mine, and he texted me. He's like, "Hey, this dude's good. If you got a couple extra minutes, but he's young. He's got good jokes, but he needs time on stage.
yeah,
If you got time, throw it at him." And he's super nice guy, but he came in, he was like insanely young, just graduated high school. I'm like, all right, man, let's see what you got. He was funny, super cool guy. Now he's running rooms in Alexandria, and he's
yeah.
up at the Comedy Loft all the time and the Improv all the time. So yeah, it's cool to watch that,
Fun
man.
to see you guys grow the way that you
Hmm.
Yeah,
guys grow.
yeah, it's fun, man.
How
All
how'd you f-
supporting each other.
Well, not everybody does, but I try to.
Yeah,
I try not to hang out with people that aren't that supportive. But
most definitely.
there's a lot. There's a lot in comedy.
do you remember what that feeling was when you finally made the decision that you were going to do this full time? Because
Oh
I was
man,
just thinking
yeah,
that.
yeah. Holy crap, dude. Actually, it was funny because I was when I did decide, there was like zero, um, it's just zero regret in it, and
yeah,
it's weird because like when I got out of the military, like I said, I did a contracting gig for a while, then I went in the government for a while, and every time I would do those, I would have these giant I would panic, dude. For a year before I got out of the military, I didn't sleep, like just because I was so paranoid, like I'm gonna be living in a box under a bridge somewhere, like right. And everybody's like, dude, it's gonna be fine. I'm like, no, it's
Yeah.
not. I'm gonna be the one guy. I want to be that different guy. And I'm gonna ruin everything. And I overthought it and overthought it and overthought it. And then I'd do something and I'd regret it, or I'd say I was gonna do something and then back out of it because I was afraid. But it just got so much, during the pandemic. I mean, not to be over dramatic, but I was super depressed. Siri, okay.
He does that all the
Siri does
time.
not understand. I agree. I didn't understand either. No, it was funny because I got into this therapy through the VA. And it was really helping because I mean I was like suicidal and stuff during the pandemic at a couple points. I hated the job I was doing. I didn't enjoy it. I was like felt like the whole world was like out to get me, right? And it's amazing that little downward spiral. And I started doing therapy with this lady from the VA, and we had this big plan. It's so we had this big giant plan. Like this was eventually I want to quit my job and do comedy full time. And it was like I was thinking this is years down the road, and it stair stepped down to these like easy decisions to do every day. So like the first one's like literally go to a restaurant you haven't been to before for lunch. Like that's the
Wow.
stupid level of stuff. And it was supposed to stair step up to different things, and then we were she was on vacation for like 2 weeks, and because I decided I was like I'm done. I was done. And I had a conversation with people I was working with, and it was like it was a very unhealthy conversation, and I just went, you know what, I'm done. And I went home, wrote the letter, mailed it the next morning. I was like, I'll sleep on it tonight, and if I don't feel crazy, I'll send it. And I sent it, and I
Wow.
was just like free. I was like, this is amazing, and I've never looked back. It's been and cool stuff has fallen in my lap after since that. Like because I was like, well, I'll just live on my retirement and disability and see what happens. And then
Mm.
I get like this part-time gig teaching leadership like once or twice a month up at the Navy Yard. It's like things just fall into place. It's
Yeah.
amazing how that works
Yeah,
out.
That's awesome.
Just
I told Dwayne, not long ago. I think the last time that me and you talked on the phone, I said, "Dude, man, you're gonna do great. You're gonna do awesome. You're gonna take off.
uh,
Yeah.
I know it."
one of these days.
Yeah. No, it's
it's
already happened.
it's
You
moving in the
work
right
with so
direction.
many big. Tony, for people that don't know who Tony Woods is, he's one of the guys that mentored Dave
Chappelle,
Chappelle
yeah,
when he was in our area, because Dave Chappelle's from our area.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I had the opportunity of meeting him at
Tony
your
Woods, not
show.
Dave Chappelle. Dave
Yeah, not
Chappelle's
not
never
not
been.
Dave Chappelle.
Not yet.
Woods.
If he does, I'm like, man, I'm never going home. Like,
Yeah.
he'll come in at 10 o'clock and be like, well, this mic's
Yeah.
going till midnight. That's great.
Yeah. So, I
But
mean,
you're welcome to, Dave. Come by. We'll lock up everybody's phones. It'll be
I would
great.
love that. Oh my God.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, there's so many good comedians in our area that is just
DC's a good scene, man.
I would s- I
DC's
would
a
I
really
would
good scene.
probably put you up in the top 5.
Oh, wow. Well,
In the top 5.
thank you. Appreciate it.
Not only because you gave me an opportunity, only because just your comedy is just you're a true you're the true definition of a comedian, because you know how to adapt to all those situations. Clean comedy,
Yeah, well,
the raw comedy, and also the leadership part of it, because you're a great leader in the comedy scene, I think.
I don't know if you know, I'm not good at getting compliments, so you need to stop.
Okay.
Because
He's
I'm
just
good
saying
at
that so
it. Like,
so
dude, stop it.
uncomfortable.
I'm good. Like, I'm quick. No, it's fine. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I wouldn't say top five by any means, but no, it's a cool scene, man. I mean,
Yeah.
DC, and you notice it when you leave DC. I mean, I don't want to like besmirch any other scenes, but like you go to other scenes and DC it's cool. I mean, you got to be good enough to get on, but there's still opportunities for new people to get on and practice. So it's like I go to LA and New York and people are literally killing each other to like get 5 minutes at a laundromat or something, you know what I
Really?
mean?
Wow.
And people in New York, they're paying to get on stage. And it's like, this place is more welcoming than that. Certainly, you're not having people from like the Tonight Show walk in to the Electric Palm and go, "You're on TV tomorrow." That doesn't happen here like it could, I guess, in New York or LA. But it's a solid scene, and
Yeah.
you see it when you go to other like festivals and stuff like that, where people that are maybe good in their little local scene wouldn't necessarily be considered good in a DC scene
Mm.
or
But you
something like
you
that.
do different things at your comedy. The comedy show that you have at the Electro Palm is
Yeah.
different every week.
Oh
Because
yeah,
you
yeah.
have, can you can you talk a little bit about what exactly it is that you guys do?
As far as
The riff
the
mic,
riffs, yeah.
the shows, and then your open mic.
Yeah, so every Tuesday we do an open mic, which is awesome. That's just a standard 5 minute open mic. Everybody, and people sign up in advance, and then and that's fun. That's just kind of the standard thing. And then then we have the riff mic every other Wednesday. We do that pretty much. Sometimes we change it up, but that one's fun because it's just nobody knows what they're going to talk about. They show up and they put a
Those are my
topic.
favorite.
It's
Yeah,
so much fun.
that was tough.
It's
The
so much
topics.
fun, man. Oh my God. It's like game night with comics. That's what I tell everyone. And it's crazy because people just put in topics when they sign up, and then I put in any dumb thing I think of for the day or two before it,
Yeah.
and we get audience members to put stuff in, and those are usually terrible topics. Nice, man.
Because there's
They're just those to be like fish, and that's not.
It's like, how do I talk about
Can we add an adjective? But I'm honestly, it's great because like I started doing some sort of riff mics online during the pandemic, and there's this girl up in Washington State who she's awesome, Tara Weidner, and she started doing this thing called oh it had three wheels. I don't remember what it was called, but I'll think of it here in a second. But it was like you'd go on and there was they would spin the wheel for your name, and then how much time you got, 3 4 or 5 minutes, and then your topic, and but you had to stay on one topic
Oh,
the whole time, and it was so much fun. And that's actually where the womanizer bit came from. Was I was on that show the first time I was on it, I got a topic. um yeah, that was like, there we go. And they were all laughing like, "Oh, we thought we were hoping in like some old middle-aged dude would get this topic." I was like, "All right, all right." It's about female issues, and I was like, "Great." And that's what birthed the womanizer bit, which is now my closer. And
yeah.
yeah, and so
You
I just
pointed me
love
out
that
on that
stuff.
joke. I
Was that
don't know
you?
if you remember.
I
Yeah,
was like, "Look me in the eye."
yeah, he did point me
yeah.
out on. He's like, "How do you know?" And I'm like, "Wait a minute," like,
Oh, geez.
yeah,
That was a fun. That was
yeah.
that was such a fun show. But no, yeah. So I just love doing that stuff because you can get new bits out of it, and maybe you think about a topic, or you get a topic you would never write something about, and you're like, oh, I can actually have a funny story about that. Let me think about it. Or hey, or you take a different opinion on it. Like, okay, I'm going to do the opposite of what I really believe about
Mhm.
Yeah.
this thing, and maybe you get a new joke, maybe you get a new or spark something, and I love that creativity. And then we have the regular shows every other Friday night, and those are a blast. We have a headliner and a couple features, and then usually we have two guest spots that are younger comics,
Yeah.
that a lot of them it's their first time getting 8 to 10. A lot of times first time getting paid because I pay the guest spots too, and so it's like it's fun being that first person to ever pay someone to do comedy because it's like you never forget that. You never forget the first
No,
time you get paid to do
I'll
comedy.
never forget the first night that I ever went up on stage. That's probably like one of the biggest moments of my life because people don't realize how much courage it takes to be a comedian and how much gut it takes to do that. Because to go up and express your opinion on so many different platforms, and what I mean by so many different subjects that
Yeah,
can be
yeah,
touchy just to anybody,
yeah. Just bringing it up. Yeah,
Yeah.
you have, like, no, I want to talk about this, and then uh I like, I don't know if you don't know this. I don't think you know this, but my first joke that I ever did on your show was dedicated to my father.
oh, okay,
I wanted that to be my first set.
okay.
And I can't say it on here because it involves,
Things that you can't talk
Yeah.
about
yeah,
there.
things that I can't talk about, but it's that was one thing that one of my little artistic little things was I dedicated that to
No,
my
that's
dad
cool, man.
because I would have wished so much to see my dad be here for me to,
Yeah,
for him to be here to see me do that
Mhm.
because my whole life I've been funny.
yeah,
I've had a lot of people tell me growing up, man, you should be a stand-up comedian. You would have been great as a comedian. Even at work. At work, we deal with so many different groups of
yeah.
individuals, races, religions, and everything. And sometimes I'll be doing my job and buddy, we're going to go to the store today, and then and my coworkers love it because I'll do different accents.
Yeah,
I'm like the Joker of where I work at,
yeah,
and I always carry comedy with
yeah.
me
Well, that's cool, man.
all
Yeah,
over.
I feel the same way. Like, if my dad passed, I guess be 11 years now, in October, and yeah, he never got to see me do stand up, and he would have been. I think he would have been super proud of it because he was
Okay.
a cut up and a funny guy and stuff like that. And I probably got my sense of humor from him in a lot of ways. But it sucks. So
Um,
I feel like the same way. Like every time I get up there, it's like, all right, Dad, here we go.
yep,
Let's do it.
yep.
Um,
You got anything for him before we go?
I love this. He just keeps throwing you like,
I know.
you ask a question.
No, right.
It's not
What's
fair.
been your favorite show that you've performed at?
Favorite show that I performed at. Easy to tell the least favorite.
Do both, I guess.
Well, there's just retirement. I'm
He
not.
cared.
uh,
Oh, with the deaf lady.
That one actually wasn't that bad, but it was just the idea of it. No, no, I think when I first started, it was funny. My buddy gave me one of my first paying gigs, PT Bratton, who I think you may have met.
Yes.
He's a great dude, and he was one of my mentors when I first started. Now we tour all over the place together. I love him, and he gave me a job at the St. Charles Town Center Mall food court, like in the middle of a food court in a mall in Maryland, and I was just like, it was the weirdest thing ever. I was just like, I was brand new. I barely had 10 minutes of material. And in fact, I cut out some stuff, and I only ended up doing 8. And he had to cover for me because he had to go. He had time to fill at the mall,
Oh.
right? And I was like, I did 8. He's like, I thought you were doing 10, man. I was like, sorry, dude. Um, but so it was weird because I was literally like trying to do crowd work with people in line at Chick-fil-A. I was like, what are you getting? It was so
Oh.
stupid, so dumb. But yeah, that I don't know, man. My favorite show. I mean, obviously the Josh Wood stuff was great. That was one of my favorites. Um, all those tours. Actually, that is probably my favorite actually because the first show of that tour was the night I met Josh actually, and it was super cool because we had never talked before, and they stuck us on stage for a Q&A together.
Hmm.
Myself, Josh, and Adam Keys, the other guy on the tour, and so I was like, dude, we're trying to be nice. We don't know this guy from Adam, so we're trying to defer. And he answered questions great. Like somebody asked him, like, hey, obviously being funny is the most important thing in comedy. And Josh was like, actually, it's like number 5. And I was like, okay, I like this guy because I understand what he means by this, right? And so, but then I made a joke about Abu Ghraib in the, in the opening. We were at Fort Carson where I'd been stationed before,
Yeah.
and I said something. They're like, "Well, when you open," I was like, "Well, I'm not going to do like Abu Ghraib jokes at wherever." And Josh leans over and goes, "I like you. We're going to get." But that was the coolest show for me because it was a great room. It was packed house, super professional. Because the guys at Gary Sinise they set it up amazingly well. I mean, they turn any space into a comedy club. It's pretty amazing. And
Yeah.
and having lived at that base and
Mhm.
worked at that base and been there for 2 years, um, it was super cool to kind of kick it off there. And I'd seen friends there that I hadn't seen in years that showed up to the show and stuff like
Good.
that. So it was super cool. That's probably my favorite show
Yeah.
that we did.
Mhm.
And yeah, so but you never know, man. Just
Yeah, man.
every time, yeah. Every time you think you do like it'll never get better, it's like something cool comes up.
And it always gets better.
Oh yeah.
It does.
And man, I feel like for you, it's just gonna be nothing from up, but up from here, man.
I hope so.
Yeah,
I hope
I
so.
truly believe it, man. I see it.
So,
Yeah, I'm one of your top fans. Just
Appreciate that, dude.
follow you all the time and everything. Just sad that I can't go to a lot of the events
Yeah.
because with what I got going on.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Life is
man, it
tough.
was truly an honor to have you
Oh
on
man,
here.
thanks for
One
having me.
last thing.
Okay.
This is my comedy book,
All right on.
and I have Mr. Woods that signed it,
Oh snap.
and I'd like for you to
I get to
sign it
sign the
also.
book
So,
with Tony. Like I gotta have
no, you need
right
your
here.
own separate page. Yeah,
Like okay, good, because I don't want to sign over Tony's.
yeah. No, go
Actually,
ahead.
that'd be
Just
hilarious, dude. That'd be great, man.
I really do appreciate it.
Oh, that's
Now I
that's
got not
awesome.
see. Told you, he's the most famous person we've ever had on the podcast.
yeah.
I got an autograph.
Oh
Yeah.
man, dude, that's awesome.
My wife, man, me and my wife both appreciate you coming on.
Appreciate you
Yeah.
guys.
Thank you.
Yes.
Sure.
Well,
Thanks for having me.
You guys can catch him. Go to DewayneWhiteComedy.com. Check out his Instagram, his Facebook. You can catch him on Tuesdays at the Electric Palm over on Sea Ray.
Yep.
Over there
Down by the
by
water.
Occoquan, down by the water. Google it because I don't know the whole entire address.
12745.
5. There you go.
I think. I don't know. It's the Electric Palm. Everybody knows.
Tuesdays, it's open mic. Every other Wednesday, riff mic. Riff mics are awesome.
So much fun.
And then the showcase
Yep.
on Fridays, you can catch them there. And afterwards, the place has good bands.
Oh yeah, they got
there,
bands
don't
downstairs every night, so you
Good food. I
come
love
to
the
the-
chicken wings.
They're good.
The barbecue
They're good. Oh
wings.
my
They
god.
do good
Yeah,
food.
they're good. Good
And the
job.
staff is great too. Staff is awesome there. They usually wait pretty quick and everything. Oh my god,
Yeah,
I love
they're
that.
very much like a family, so it's super
Yeah.
cool.
So thanks again.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
Hey, where
Thanks,
can people
Jess.
catch you
Thank
at
you.
next time?
Well, when is this
We got
airing?
around the area.
When is this? When is this gonna air?
Huh?
When is this airing?
Next week.
Okay, so not this weekend stuff. Can I look at my phone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get very confused by the calendar these days. So let's see. In the area, I'll be at room 808 next week, up in the city, and actually then I'm heading out to Washington State. I'm doing 2 shows at Club Comedy Seattle, and then judging the America's Funniest Veteran competition in Tacoma Comedy Club. And then yeah, then I'm actually taking some time off because my daughter's graduating from high school and the following weekend, so I'm actually might have some days to relax. So we'll see.
Yeah.
My dad.
Not Washington D.C. people. We're talking
Yeah,
about
Washington State.
Washington
The
State.
other Washington.
Yeah.
Congratulations on my daughter's getting ready to graduate elementary school, and I'm already a mess.
Yeah.
Dude,
You're gonna cry.
No,
I'm gonna cry.
crying's okay, but then
No, I'm gonna.
you cry when they leave, but then you really cry when they come back because you're like, yes, yes.
You guys, that does it for another episode of PS and
Jess.
We'll catch you guys in the next one. Thanks a lot, Dwayne.
You bet.
Bye.
It's true. What's up, everybody? This is Pasta Sauce from the PS and Jess podcast. Just wanted to give you guys a quick reminder. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Not only that, hit the little notification button right there, right underneath the video to get notified when we post new content. Thank you guys so much for everybody that supports the show and all our subscribers. We can't wait to bring you another episode. And that is it for the PS and Jess podcast. Catch you on the next one.